Hi there, and welcome to another exciting session of training provided by Quicksoft. In this chapter, we're going to cover another interesting topic called auto invoice. Basically, we are going to cover what are the setups required to be able to use the auto invoice functionality. Okay, auto invoice is the process which is used to import invoices from external system. This could be the seeded system as part of your ERP, for example, order management, or could be projects from where the invoices are interfaced to receivables, or it could be any external system which you have in your organization which is not part of ERP, and you're pushing invoices from that system into receivable module. Yeah, so auto invoice is primarily used to import invoices from any external system or from your seeded system which you have as part of ERP. Okay, so let's start. So within auto invoice, there are three main processes which we need to configure so that we can use the functionality, and mostly are defaulted, but we can always customize it as per our business need. These are the three configuration which we need to do. One is first is the line transaction flex field. Yeah, we'll be interfacing a lot of lines as part of interfacing from our source system in invoice lines data. So when the data is coming from external system, we have to define a flex field which basically defines how do we connect back the data transaction from our receivable. If we want to identify this invoice line which was imported from source system, how we are able to match what are the fields available in my receivable which I can use to say, okay, this information was because of so and so from the external system. Yeah, typically this can be, just to give a simple example, this can be, if I have a source system, I can give whatever invoice number was created from source system, invoice ID, invoice line ID, all those unique field which you can push to receivable, so that if you have to refer back, you can use that information to refer back the details in your sources. So line transaction field, flex field helps you connect back to your old system. Line ordering rules, when you're creating, let's say you're importing 10 lines as part of one invoice, what should be sequencing for the invoice lines? Which line should come first, which line should come later? You can specify in line ordering rules. Grouping rules, when you're interfacing so many lines from your source system, on what basis system should group that into one invoice. Yeah, that is defined in the grouping rules. Okay, so let's go through one by one for each, and then I will show you how to do it in the system as well. So line transaction flex field, as I mentioned, line transaction flex field provides the ability to connect back to the source system. Yeah, so if I'm importing every day hundreds of invoices, and in one particular invoice I have some problem, how do I know, how do I connect it back to my old? So line transaction flex field will store those reference fields which you would have sent from your source system, and then using those fields you can go back to your old system and verify transaction and clarify any doubts or query if you have. Very important point, must be unique in the database. Yeah, so if you're sending me data from the source system and you identified 4 field which you're sending, that 4 field has to be unique at invoice line level. You cannot send me those 4 field today for invoice number X and tomorrow send me same field for invoice number Y. Yeah, its system ensures that that field is unique, because I should be able to connect back to my old transaction. Yeah, so when you're populating this data from your source system, you will have to make sure that this information which you're populating, if you have to resend similar same, you have a unique identifier added there so that this information becomes unique. Otherwise, if this is not correct, duplicate flex field will be rejected in the auto invoice import process. This is a process which is used to import invoices from external system, and if it finds any duplicate flex field which is used in the lines which you're interfacing already used previously, this will fail your auto invoice import. It will not let you import that. Okay, now let me show you this line transaction flex field setup. To define line transaction flex field in the system, under financials, search for flex field and then pick receivable descriptive flex field. Go to descriptive flex field screen. You can inquire all the various flex fields which are there, but what we're looking for specifically is search for percentage transaction percentage. Primarily, we can also put line in front. I'm looking for line transaction flex field. Did I miss anything? Yeah, I missed any. Yeah, this is the flex field which we need to deploy. Yeah, let me inquire this first. This is a context sensitive flex field. Let me show you what are the flex fields which are defined previously. Let's say if I'm looking for data coming from projects, this is a contract invoice flex field. This will be receiving this information in the flex field as populated, shown here as part of CD data, which will be sent from whenever you interface an invoice from projects to receivables. It will be sending contract number, contract ID. All these fields will be available as part of your flex field when invoice is coming from projects. Let me look at another examples. Let's say if I look at global intercompany, any invoices which are coming from AGIS or intercompany transaction in recently called, that will have this information: batch ID, transaction ID, line ID, and batch number stored in the flex field. So if you want to reference back, you can easily identify it came from where. And that information will be stored in these attribute columns as part of your auto invoice FBDI, and also in the RA interface lines table where the information will be stored. So batch ID will be stored in the attribute 1, transaction ID in attribute 2, line ID in attribute 3, and batch number in attribute 4. So you can use this for any of your reporting purpose once you know what information is stored and where. Okay, sometimes when you're writing some query, you can join this column with some data. Once you have clarity of for which context, how the data is stored in the these flex field columns, then you can prepare your report or query accordingly. Let me also show you for recurring invoices, which is in receivables, what is stored: bill plan name, period, and line number. So again, this is unique information, has to be only for that purpose. Now, if we want to create a new one, what do we need to do? If we have external source which we want to use to be able to import invoices, what do we need to do? I'm going to show you those steps. We need to create the context first, and then we need to attach the context with the necessary interface fields. Let me show you step by step. We'll go to manage context, and then we'll create a context. I'm creating one called QuickSoft external invoices. I'm putting same as a context code. You can also put this. This is system automatically creates this name, because this name, the last one which you're looking at, is the one used for API. If you're sending data through API, this is the information you will be passing to the API. Yeah, so I can post it here. So this is the name I've given. Now what are the field which I want for my context sensitive? So I can add my fields here. Let me save this one. Once you save the flex field name, then you can add the segments under it. So this is the segment which we are going to create under that. In my case, invoice number and invoice line number will be unique coming from the source system. So I'm going to create that. So I'm just creating two setup here: invoice number. Yeah, description I'm going to put same. Enabled, data type is character, table column name, interface line attribute 1. By default it shows you 1, then you can choose it. Value set, you can, there are so many seeded value set to which basically identified what are the attributes or the value which you're sending. So you can pick the seeded ones which are available. HRC underscore char 30. There are so many available, you can pick whichever required. If not available as per your need, you can always create a new value set and attach that. Yeah, this is nothing depending on the range. This is simple one which I have. Yeah, so I can just define, then I can, what is the prompt is invoice number, it's a text box. That's all. I don't need to define anything else here, but if you need anything, you can set up. For my first one is done, I can just save and create another. My second one is going to be invoice line number. When you tab from here, this will automatically derive the API name. You don't need to enter, just leave it as it is. Data type again is character, table column. These are automatically picking the next table column name. Value set, I'm picking the same, everything else same. I don't need to change anything. I can say save and close. It will show you the segment which you have added in your context, invoice number, line number. If you want to add some more validations on that value which is coming, then you can add it there, but this is optional. You can leave it blank if you want to. Then click on save and close, come back to your main screen. Yeah, now you can, in this one, you can now search your context which you already created, and if you need to inquire, otherwise you can just save and close, come back to your main flex field screen. Yeah, so now this is a flex field which you have created, line transaction, which is primarily storing in the R interface lines, and then this is the context, and for this context I define two fields, and these two fields are getting stored into these database table columns. Yeah, then I can, once I'm done, I can save and close. After that, I need to deploy this flex field. Only after deployment this flex field is available. Yeah, I deploy this flex field. My deployment is successful. Say OK. So in this process, I've shown you how to define a line transaction flex field, and what kind of different contexts you can have as per your need, and how do you define columns in the line transaction flex field. This is very important setup for your auto invoice process to work. If you don't set up this one, you will not be able to import invoices from any external system. Okay, there are seeded which are available if you are importing from order management or projects or global intercompany or recurring. Those are seeded already defaulted there, which will be available. But if you need some external system to migrate from, you need to define this transaction flex field so that you can migrate. Okay, so once this is done, the next step which you need to do is line ordering rules. Now if you're importing so many lines from the external system, when the invoice is getting created in the receivable module, what should be the sequence of lines? Which line should be line 1, which line should be line 2, line 3? So how do you decide that? You decide that by using line ordering rules. Yeah, so this is used to decide the invoice line sequencing. Yeah, so if you have so many lines, what should be line 1, what should be line 2? Default rules provided for seeded sources, whatever seeded sources they are, the default rules are provided. Yeah, you can always define new rules which as per your business need. Yeah, when you define, I'll show you in a system how to define that. You can always add new rules as per your business need. For the seeded ones, you can use it as it is, but if you need to change due to whatever reason, then you can change and create a new one and use that in for your business purposes. Okay, now let me show you how to define line ordering rules in the system. To define line ordering rules, under financial, search for auto invoice and then choose manage auto invoice line ordering rules. Okay, these are the few which are already defined. You can search if anything specific you want to. Otherwise, these are seeded ones which are available for projects which are coming from projects module, order which are coming from Oracle order management, and interest invoices which are coming from your late payment interest calculation in receivables. Yeah, so if you notice, if I go to projects, the ordering rule is attribute 5, 6, 7, 8. This could be your maybe project contact number, project number, line number, and all that, or task number, which is stored. You can review it. If you inquire line transaction flex field for projects, then you will know what is stored in these attributes. Yeah, this is order line rule, which is sales order number, sales order line. So this is how the line will be sequenced. Interest invoice order, interest invoice will be sorted by this. Now if you want to define your line ordering rules, by default system will follow your sequencing which you were given. For if you don't give anything, system will follow sequencing which you are given in your line transaction flex field. But if you want to be specific, then you can define your own line transaction rule. Yeah, for example, if I say define new one, I say QS invoices. My description is same, date you can choose as required, then I can put the sequence. Sequence 1 is, I can say interface line attribute 2, because one was stored, one had invoice number, and then line 2 type is ascending. You can also choose the order for that. line 2, sequence 2 will be interface line attribute 2. Where's my attribute 2? Here it is. Yeah, ascending as well. So basically what system will do when it's importing the data, the SQL query which it creates is going to put this into order by clause. This is how the invoice will be ordered by. And based on this, the invoice will get created and you will see the sequence as per your desired sequencing requirement. Once you're done, you can click on done. Yeah, so this is the new order which you've created. You can inquire this one. You can click on save to save and close. You can inquire this screen to see what setup you have done. Yeah, if you defined this previously, you need to change. You can go ahead and change. This is only be applicable for future imports which you do, and you can change as per your need. Okay, so this is how you define line ordering rules in the system. So you understood what is the line ordering rule, which is basically used for invoice line sequencing. You can decide as per your business need, and then use default if required, or you can change it as per your need. Okay, so we are done line transaction flex fill, line ordering rule. The last one and very important one is grouping rules. This is basically used to decide how many invoice lines to be grouped into a single invoice. Let's say you're sending thousands of lines. How does system know I have to group into how many invoice lines, how many invoices basically? Yeah, but they have to, maybe you, in your older system you have 10 invoices, but when you're creating in the table you want to group it into one invoice. So how do you tell that in the system, that how does system decide based on the number of lines how many actual invoices to be created in the system? Yeah, there's some default parameter which are by default system will take, like customer number, customer account, customer site. Those you don't choose, but those are seeded one. But on top of that, if you want to add more variations, more variety, you can do that. So default rules are provided and you can define new as per your need. Let me show you how to create grouping rules so you understand. In your autonomous section, search for autonomous grouping rules. You can search all default which are available. This is also called default. Let me show you the existing ones so that you understand. Yeah, default there's nothing. That means whatever standard seeded system will take, that's enough. I'm not adding any additional add-on to the system to include that as part of grouping. So default means nothing. Only seeded one will be used. Let me show you for projects. Invoices coming from projects. How do they group any additional parameter? So they've added 1, 2, 3, 4 parameter also. So on top of seeded values which are coming a customer account and site, system will also add these four for credit memo to be for grouping. Yeah, and then for invoice, you can define this by transaction class. For invoice also it's the same. So it will add additional attributes as part of grouping condition. So if these attribute create multiple line, break multiple line to multiple invoices, that is what's going to happen. Yeah, so in case if you don't want let's say in the line 3 you have task number, yeah, and some other attribute, and you don't want this seeded one to be breaking those into multiple invoices because the customer doesn't like it that you create unnecessary multiple invoices, then you can define a new rule and then delete these two lines from there and then use that as part of your project invoice import grouping. Yeah, if it works. Another important thing you have to see, all this system which is seeded, right? Projects, order management, global intercompany. When you play with these rules, yeah, it may work on one side. When I say one side means when I create, let's say I remove these two, yeah, and then my invoices which are previously becoming 5 now become 2 because of the grouping. But important thing to know is when system has to go back, this when the invoice gets imported, there is a process to update the invoice number back in the projects module. Whether that process has any impact if I do this change or not, you have to verify. Either you have to try it yourself to make this change, test whether the process end-to-end works fine. If not, you may have to raise an SR and confirm with them. I'll show you an example of that. Let me show you global intercompany. So global intercompany, typically we have added attribute 1 and 2. Attribute 1 and 2 is basically batch number and transaction number. If you are familiar with global intercompany, in one batch you can create multiple transaction. As seeded functionality, because batch number and transaction number is grouped here, then system is going to break by each transaction number. If that means if I have a batch which has 10 transactions inside. For each transaction, because transaction is part of grouping, it's going to create a separate invoice. Now imagine if I remove this one, I remove this line, and then I have only one. That means in a batch, if I have 10 transactions for the same customer, it's going to actually group that into one single invoice, which works perfectly fine. But the problem is it has to update back that invoice number status in my intercompany AGIS or intercompany transaction process. That process is not supported. That process does not support you do this change. Yeah, so even though your AR works fine, but in the end your intercompany transaction will get stuck. Okay, so you have to be careful making any changes in this one. If you make a change, either raise an SRN clarify first, or you test it thoroughly end to end to make sure it does not create another problem by solving one problem which you're doing by making this change. Okay, let me show you for interest invoice. It is attribute 1 and 2. So these are all the parameters which can be defined by transaction class. So depending upon your transaction class of invoices which you're going to import from auto invoice, for those you need to define this grouping rule as required. If you don't have any specific need, you can just put default. Default means just take the important attribute, because I cannot club two customer invoices into one invoice, right? It doesn't make sense. So those which must have, system will take automatically. You don't need to choose anything. Yeah, but if you don't want to add anything, just choose default grouping is fine. Then you don't need to make any change. Okay, so in this chapter you have seen how grouping rule works. The purpose of grouping rule is to group the invoice line which you are interfacing from external system into single invoice depending on the rules which you give. Okay, so if you don't give any additional rules, then the system will use the default setting to group those data into one invoice. In this chapter, we have understood the main important setup which you need to configure in the system before you are able to use the auto invoice functionality of the system. Auto invoice, as I mentioned, is used to import invoices from external system or from your subledgers which could be pushing data to your receivable model. Could be order management, could be projects, could be global intercompany. Yeah, various sources which can push data to your system. So you need to, for seeded one, there is a standard configuration already available. If required, you should change, otherwise you should use the default. But if you need to import data from some external system of yours, then you need to do the setup which I've shown you just now. Okay, so with this we conclude this chapter. Thank you very much for your time and attention, and happy learning.